Hey guys, what's up? My name is Erin. In this video, we're going to talk all about relationships. We're going to talk about soulmates, twin flames, soul groups, etc. So stay until the end. I always build and then energy builds and then sometimes the best is at the end. Okay. So I felt inspired to be able to spread this message, to be able to kind of channel this information for you. So what is the purpose of relationships? And we're going to kind of talk about what I call the soul matrix, which is also kind of like the fifth dimension, which is also like the soul's journey. Okay, being able to see things through the soul or higher self's perspective. So yes, everybody, there is oneness, everyone is just you. But in this reality, we can live as being more of our spirit. We can live and see things through the eyes of our spirit, which is more like a third eye thing. Top chakras. Okay, so from that lens, I'm gonna kind of get into this. So, what is the purpose of a relationship to the soul? Relationships are here to help with the evolution of our soul, to help us to become more of who we were born to become. So, here are some examples of why people might come into your life. Number one, they might come in to activate you or inspire you. Number two, they might come in as a catalyst for growth or change. And then number three, they're here to also bring up our shadows. Okay, and then there's other roles too, there's companionship and there's, family and support and your spirit tribe. But I'm going to kind of get into these three right now, and then we're going to kind of get into soulmates and stuff. Okay, so souls will oftentimes come in and activate and inspire things within us. So like I said, relationships are all about helping us with the evolution of our soul. So think about these three things that I said and how they would help you to move forward in your journey. Like I said in another video, from the perspective, a higher perspective, it's kind of like our human aspect. So our higher self is a puppet master to our human self, guiding us, helping us through this game, this reality. So our higher self is us, okay? We have free will. Our higher self has free will, but sometimes it seems like our human does not have free will. Our human is kind of like our lower self. So a certain amount of our spirit can flow through us depending on how much inner work we've done, how much we've unlocked ourselves and cleared away our shadows. The more that we clear away what isn't us, like conditioning of the outside world, then more of our spirit self can flow through. Once we clear away a lot of the density, it's what you call heavy energy that kind of blocks and makes up your filter. And then you can see more through the lens of your higher self. Okay, so we're in this game, this reality, kind of like Mario. I don't know. I had a Nintendo 64 when I was a little kid. It was luxury back then. We didn't have a lot growing up. But in this game, Mario, you play different levels, and then you get to advance to different worlds, and you get to advance to different levels of the game. It's super old school. But that's how it is in this life too. So you are this human experiencing different levels of the game. So it could be a level of, or a challenge of codependency. And once you overcome codependency, then you get to advance to the next level, which might be, soul purpose. Okay. Now we're going to focus on our soul purpose. We're going to undo all of those blocks. So here's the thing, in each level of the game, you'll have a relationship perhaps that comes in and helps you to move along in the game that you're playing in. Okay, so before coming to Earth, we, on a soul level, have made agreements, and we've made agreements with different people in our soul group. Now you'll recognize, and I'll get into soul groups a little further in this video, but soul groups, people in our soul groups usually play out more prominent roles for us. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just float in, do what they're meant to do, and then they leave. But here's some examples. So like I was saying, sometimes a soulmate will come in and will activate and inspire something within you. So what this might look like is, so for example, my coworker, whenever he came in, he activated something within me by whenever he was creative and working on like entrepreneur stuff and working on creative projects, then that would inspire me energetically and activate and unlock those parts of me to be like, oh, I'm going to do this too. Or like a friend who's perhaps buying a house. Okay, your energy fields are constantly interacting with other people. So you can feel what other people are doing within their energy fields, and they activate and inspire dormant energy perhaps in your own field. So what this might look like is a friend traveling, and suddenly you feel inspired to travel. You feel inspired to move, to evolve. Maybe there's something you're meant to do in a different country or something like that. Okay, like people can inspire you. I don't know, whatever someone else is doing in their energy field, it unlocks things within you if you're in resonance with it. So sometimes, you know, we might see something someone else is doing and we might want to do it, but then there's also discernment to be like, is this what I'm meant to be focusing on right now? Or what information is this bringing up for me? Is this something that I'm meant to flow with? Okay, is this my highest resonance? So it's also good to have discernment too. But yeah, something that soulmates and people in your relationships can do is inspire you, activate. It's like they're unlocking channels within you for flow. They're redirecting you, okay? So, which brings me to the second one that I said. I know there's a fourth one too, but I forget what it was. Maybe I'll make another video about it. But number 3 is a catalyst for change. So oftentimes what this will look like is you might be stuck in a relationship with someone and you've ascended beyond the relationship. Because remember, each relationship causes you to create a new relationship because of the expansion that your current relationship has caused you to have. So the contrast in the relationship, things that you don't want, have brought you into an understanding within yourself of what you do want. So yes, relationships can grow with us, they can expand with us, but sometimes our partners are not at the level spiritually to be able to do that. So oftentimes what I have seen is someone stuck in a relationship and then a soulmate will come along and will kind of lure, like they'll lure them in, be like, hey, like, look at me, I'm a bright, shiny object. You recognize me on a soul level. You love me. And it'll be enough for them to break up with their partner. Now, sometimes this person doesn't know, this soul that has agreed to be a catalyst doesn't always stay. It's sometimes temporary. So what will happen is the person will latch on to them and will want to continue being with them when they were just meant to, you know, be that stepping stone for what's coming next. Just to kind of move you. Like I said, we are being moved. Like soulmates are really great for moving us, or like people in our soul group, you know, contracts. So another huge one is relationships bring up our shadows. So relationships are our mirror. There are some really deep soul connections that will come in and bring up some of your darkest shadows that are hidden in the corner, the crevices of your being that are wanting to be seen. So just because we're not seeing it now doesn't mean it doesn't exist in our field. It's just because we're not looking at it. So relationships will come in and they will trigger you so that you look at those deep crevices within yourself. Okay, so let's get into soulmates. What are soulmates? So think about it, okay? You have a core soul frequency, your soul. When you are at your truest frequency of your soul, you have a unique frequency. That is you. So even though we are all one, you know, we come from one source. Imagine that you are a piece of, like, there's this whole, I don't know, like a Godhead, or like there's this one consciousness. You are splitting off of that consciousness and you turn into a little soul and a body. Your soul has a unique frequency, okay? It's kind of like a personality in the soul matrix. It's a frequency that is kind of equivalent to that, okay? It's your, kind of like your identification. So when I do readings for people and I connect them with their higher self, each higher self is different. Each higher self feels different to me, okay? It's your heart frequency is unique. So you have a core frequency. So now think about, like, let's say like there's this overall one consciousness and there's like a splitting off and there's like a group that splits off. And this is like kind of like a blanket. And you are a piece of that blanket. So the blanket is like a frequency, okay? It's like your soul group, and anybody from that soul group has like a similar frequency. You guys resonate similar on a core level. Not exactly the same, but you vibrate similar. So that's why you can recognize your soulmate and they feel like home to you. It's because they come from that overall blanket, like you're a cutting of a blanket. That's the best way I can explain. Okay, so you share similar frequencies. They're not the same exact, but they're similar. They feel like home. Now, when I talk about the soul group, your soul group are usually souls that you have played in the game before. So different characters in the game, but maybe you have played out different roles for each other in different past lives. So for example, like your family is an example of a soul contract. You know, you make agreements before coming to Earth that you're going to play out different roles for each other. So your family is an example of that. And perhaps sometimes people in your soul family, in your family, are soulmates, are part of your soul group. They're willing to play out a role for you. I wanted to also add this. Those who play out roles that really hurt you are usually souls that really love you because they're triggering you and bringing out your shadows. So yeah, people in your soul group are usually, you've played with them before. So for example, I dated someone and I was this person's mom in a past life. And I remember in our relationship, it felt like I would never be recognized on a soul level. Like I would never fully be seen, or that I was going to get abandoned, or kind of experiencing of loss. And it's because I found out after doing energy work, and then like the person confirmed, like, oh, a psychic told me that too, that this person was abducted in a past life as a child and I was the mother. And so I've had a lot of abandonment issues in a lot of my past lives, or feelings of loss. And so a similar, like it kind of played out that way in this lifetime but it was like different roles. This person wasn't my child. It was a person I was dating. So that's just an example. So I think, you know, my mom in this lifetime has played out maybe like a family member in a past life too, or a mother role in a past life. We have a deep soul connection. She even believes that she was like my soul family in a past life because she's pretty intuitive. She hasn't looked as deeply into things as I have, or that I have an awareness of, but she has some awareness. So she kind of has that recognition with us. Okay, so basically the way that, you know, relationships work and like soul contracts work is each person that you have a soul contract with holds an aspect of you, or holds something within themselves that you need to retrieve back in order to come into wholeness. So it's like they have something in their pocket. They have a piece of you in their pocket, and you meet them so that you can retrieve it back, so that you can level up into the next part of your game, so that you can be more of who you were born to become. So for example, you know, someone might have an aspect of you within themselves where you are meant to travel the world. And so when you meet them, they inspire that within you. And you have now retrieved that part of you back. In another example, it could be like a shadow. So someone might, you know, trigger your codependency, and you do the inner work and you overcome this obstacle, and you are now able to level up to the next level, okay? So they hold different aspects of us. So now I also wanted to say this. What you oftentimes like about someone else is usually what you resonate with on some level. So for example, what you like about someone is usually, like I said, everyone's just a reflection. So it's what you like about yourself, or it's something you're meant to obtain more of, or you're just recognizing that soul connection, that heart resonance between you and another soul. So what you might like about someone is their confidence, and that's because you are liking an aspect of yourself within them. So something you're meant to obtain more of, if that makes sense. So that's like another way to look at relationships, okay? So when I said that people hold like something in their their pocket. They hold like an aspect of you. It's something within them that activates and shows you something within yourself. All right, but let's get back into soul groups a little bit more. So what makes up your soul group? Here are just a few examples. So you have soulmates, you have your family. These are examples of like some soul contracts too that could play out. You have maybe a romantic soulmate. You might have people or souls that you have agreements to be able to be partners in some kind of mission work. You may have a twin flame, or like a deep soul connection like a twin flame. What I like to think of, a lot of times with twin flames, I also oftentimes will think about like higher frequency, fifth dimensional relationships that are really deep and powerful. So like something that when you're with this person, it really activates you spiritually. Now I'm going to get into the meaning. I'm going to get into these in more detail in a little bit. So a soulmate, like I said, all of these connections, you're like from the same blanket, like you resonate on a similar soul frequency. So let's talk about soulmates a little bit. So soulmates oftentimes are more harmonious than the others. Sometimes not, okay? Like you'll feel pulled in by that heart resonance. You'll feel pulled in by a deep soul love that you have. And it's because you have to love someone a lot in that soul way in order to have the lesson. So you have to be pulled in some way. So it's like that push and pull. You're pulled in, but your ego is kind of in the way of the love that's wanting to come through. And that's the work that we need to do. What's in the way is the way. So you'll oftentimes recognize the soulmate because they'll feel like home. It'll be more of a supportive relationship. Sometimes there's companion soulmates, those that will be your friends and companion in this life. So for example, I have one of those. Like we recognized each other on a soul level, and it was romantic for a little bit, and then it just turned into like a deep friendship that's going to be very lasting. I can see this person being a very lasting soulmate. We both recognized each other on a soul level too. Like we're magnetized to each other. If I seem a little less fluid today, it's because I'm dealing with some throat chakra stuff. Okay, so soulmates can be companions in your life. Soulmate relationships are usually, in a lot of cases, they'll want to work through stuff with you. They'll be more supportive. They won't just like cause chaos in your life and leave. So now, speaking of that is what a karmic soulmate is like. They'll come in, cause a bunch of chaos in your life, leave you with a bunch of inner work to do, and then they'll want to leave. And what we make the mistake of is we make the mistake of wanting to attach onto them when they're just meant to be a tornado and then leave, okay? Now, I have attached to a karmic soulmate before, and I should have let go sooner, but instead I felt like I grabbed onto the tornado and it took me and until I was like, oh my God, and then finally left, okay? So yeah, karmic relationships come in, cause a bunch of chaos, bring up all your shadows, and then they oftentimes will leave. Okay, they're not meant to stay. Like it'd be a lot of inner work to be able to work through this usually. So whereas soulmates they have a chance of staying. So for example, a soulmate relationship is one of my longest relationships, and it was with someone who was willing to work through things with me, who loved me. We were like, it had that deep heart resonance. And I think in a lot of ways, your zodiac chart will also show this, but not always. Like I've met soulmates that have said that we are not compatible, but like in some ways, but because we were both conscious, we were able to make it work. I think you can tell your karmic soulmates easily through astrology too, because I've had those before. And like I was with a romantic partner who got us both thrown into like some galactic jail in a different star system. I know it's a little esoteric there, but a little woo-woo. But I know that some of my audience can handle this, okay? So, and then in this lifetime, I watched this person get themselves thrown into jail again. And I didn't want to get dragged into it like energetically. or like be that person to support. Like that was some inner work I needed to do around that past life, how I felt burdened by it, how I felt kind of avoidant with it. So I needed to do a lot of inner work around that. And I knew at that point in my, my process that this was something I needed to let go of versus letting it take me with it. That this was something I could expand past. I didn't have to continue to re-enter that level. I could go to the next level. And so I told this person, like, hey, look, I feel like I don't feel in resonance with this relationship anymore because, I had leveled up and we're able to come into peace with ending it. Conscious uncoupling. That's kind of an example of a karmic relationship. Be someone that, maybe you had past lives with or something like that. Sometimes it won't always make sense from your childhood to why this person's playing this role out for you. It could be really past life, what I'm saying. But anyways, twin flames. So there is this belief that twin flames vibrate at the same core frequency as you, as your perfect match. To me, I feel that soulmates activate you spiritually. I feel like twin flames activate you spiritually. They're a very deep spiritual relationship. So for me, I also believe that twin flames they're not the only deep connection you're gonna have. Like, I have met a lot of very deep twin flamey kind of relationships that are very high frequency and very deep and loving. Twin flames can bring up a lot of your deepest shadows, okay? But for me, I feel like I might have met my twin flame, but I never want to like attach to the who, because things always change, okay? You never know. Someone's core, let's say someone was meant to be your twin flame in this lifetime, their core frequency can change and another's can change and match yours. I don't know. Like, things can be like that. We are multidimensional. So I'm not attached. I know that sometimes there's a lot of attachment, codependency when you talk about twin flames, because it's like, oh, there's this one and only for me that I can't ascend without my twin flame. I can't do my mission work without my twin flame, when that's not true. Okay, your twin flame can show up, and you might not be a romantic partnership. You just might be helping each other. You might be friends. You might be more of a supportive role. Okay, you guys might have different missions on this planet, and that's okay. That doesn't mean that you're any less of a soul because you and your twin flame aren't doing your mission work together. Maybe you're just both like badass souls and you're more powerful doing different things because you're that much more like, you don't need to have another person to do what you like. Maybe in past lives you needed them, but maybe now you're that much more powerful and advanced that you don't need another person at all, okay? You can do it on your own. And you're still as powerful, okay? Sometimes it's just, let's say you meet your twin flame. I mean, maybe that's just an experience you wanted to have. Like, oh, hey, I met my twin flame. But yeah, like there's a whole thing about twin flame separation. Like, oh, you come down here as one soul, you split into two. One's more the feminine and masculine, one's more the masculine. And that you complete each other. And yeah, I can tell you this. I'm whole and complete without another person. So are you, okay? So twin flames could be like a whole nother video, I feel like. But yeah, that is kind of my brief summary of soul groups and relationships. If you haven't already, please like this video. Please subscribe to my channel. It helps support me. Thank you, everyone. Sending you so much love and light. I hope you have an amazing week.